So in today's security and tech video, we're going to be looking at unboxing a FortiGate 300D. So this is a new 300D that I just got my hands on. So we're going to open it up, have a look at what's on the inside, and I'll link to some of the tech specs for it for you as well. It's the standard box inside of a box. On the inside box, we've got the model SKU, the FG300D, got the part number, got the hardware ID, and we've got the serial number as well. So we'll just open up the inner box. Standard thing, we've got a power cable. Unfortunately for the data center that I'm in, we don't use the standard power cables. We use kettle cords on both ends, so that won't be of too much use for me. Got an accessories box. Inside the accessories box, we've got the 300D information booklet. Standard thing telling you what cables it comes with, the different lights and what the lights mean on the ports. You've got the tools and documentation CD. Because this one has fiber transceivers, it actually comes with 2 of them, and these should just be the 1 gig fiber transceivers. You've got a Cat5e cable stuck down to the box. You've got some little rubber feet if you're not going to be rack mounting it. If you are rack mounting it, you have 2 little rack mount ears. You've got your serial console cable. Little packet of screws for the rack mount ears. And you've got a USB cable. So as different from the C series, where it actually went from USB type A to type B, this is going USB to mini USB. So not micro, but mini. So a little more common of a USB cable. And then you have the nicely wrapped FortiGate Cookbook and Quickstart guide. So useful information in here if you've never used a FortiGate firewall before. Otherwise, it's the same old, and it's nice for recycling. So that's the accessories box. And then into the actual firewall itself. Nice large packet of silica gel, do not eat. Well, you can reuse it to keep other things dry. And here is the firewall itself. So you've got a little sticker on the top. It says easy setup. This is different from the previous C series models. Register the device, go to fortinet.com/register, connect management 1 to your device, visit 192.168.1.99 in your browser, default username of admin and no password. Ports 4, 8 are default in sniffer mode. So by default, they're configured like that. That said, common security practice is to make sure that you wipe all configuration and only put on what you absolutely need. But if you're using one of these for the very first time, you can play around with the default configuration, see how it goes from there. Looking at the actual firewall itself, let's get a little bit close up and go through here. So you've got air intake, keeps the FortiGate cool, especially if you're going to be putting it into a rack where you've got the cool row on the front. You've got status lights for status, alarm, HA, and power. You've got a mini USB for USB management. You've got your RJ45 console for your standard console cables. 2 USB ports, management 1 and management 2. You then get the standard 1 gig copper RJ45 ports for ports 1, 2, 3, and 4. You then have Sfp ports here for ports 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now these are your standard Sfp ports. They're not Sfp+, so they're only 1 gigabit, and included, as I pointed out here, was a couple Sfp transceivers. Now those are short-range fiber 1 gig transceivers that you could put into here. Additionally, if you want more copper RJ45 ports, you can buy transceivers that would actually give you copper RJ45 ports as well. You've got some air holes on the side, air holes on this side as well. On the side, you've got your sticker with the serial number, hardware ID, and part number. And you don't have that information on the back. So if you are going to be rack mounting these firewalls, this can be quite tricky to get at on the side once they're in the rack. So you want to make sure that you take a picture, document that information before you carry on. On the back, you've got 3 fans plus the 4th fan as part of the power supply. So it is going to be pulling cool air in from the front of the firewall and blowing it out through to the back. So much better for data center and racking. In here, you've got redundant power supply. Now, with a lot of the D-series firewalls, they've moved to external redundant power supplies. So in the one here, it gives you all the specs here, but you've got 2 of the, I think they're FRPS, Fortinet redundant power supplies. For this one of the FRPS 100 should be able to support 4 of the 300D firewalls. So it would have 4 of these connections. So 1 redundant power supply can provide redundant power for 4 firewalls. If you don't want redundant power, you just have your standard kettle cord in here with no option for user serviceable removing of this power supply. So it's similar to the lower end, like the 100 and 200 FortiGates, that you've got the 1 power supply in, but you've got the option if you want the redundancy. Additionally, if you're just running in an HA pair, you've got redundancy by the fact that you've got 2 different firewalls up and running. On the bottom of the firewall, standard thing as well, that you've got the hardware ID, model number, serial number, MAC address, all the regulatory information. But once again, if you're putting it into a rack, this information can get pretty hard to see, especially when you're stacking firewalls right on top of each other. So there you have it. That's unboxing of a FortiGate 300D firewall, and hope this was useful to you. Coming up in other videos, I'm actually going to be unboxing a 600D and a 1200D, so have a look for those videos as well. Thanks for watching.